games. So here we go. Joe on dark side. Scott Lingrell, the man, the myth, the legend on light side. Believe this is the Tatooine Mall SSA versus Mine Which You Have Learned. Okay, so here we go. Joe against Scott. Who do you like?
I'm rooting for Scott.
Yeah.
I've known Scott a long time.
I,
I've known
I
Scott since Boom Race.
since when?
Boom Race. That's when you play blow up the bunker with pod racing. Back in the day. Way back in the day.
So Scott playing Mind What You Have Learned. Joe on SSA Mall's Hut starting. Scott going with The Way of Things, Battle Plan, Draw Your Fire, and Walkling. Joe going with Jabba's Haven, Mobilization Points combo, and Jury Juice. Playing double back to get Forlom. Scott going ahead and getting his grabber as well as the Goldenrod Shield. And for those who are watching and want to follow along on our second one, it is Connor Britton versus Johnny Chu on at twitch.yoshi underscore 13. Okay, so Connor versus Johnny as the fifth seed, Joe versus Scott as the sixth seed, Wayne versus Ryan as the seventh, and Bill versus Brian Fred. Again, Brian Fred advances over Bill Kafer as Bill scoops to his good friend. So right now we have, I think Wayne is what? I think Wayne is a money ball. So Mishki is a new ally. Batmouse is Team Killer Bees. Casey as an independent. Hayes is Team 5. Connor, Moneyball. Johnny, KTOD. Scott. Joe, Team 5. Wayne as Moneyball. Ryan as Moneyball. And then B. Fred as the new allies.
Way to go, Scott. Independent operator.
And Casey.
And Casey. That's
Casey
true.
Casey worked a lot with
Yeah. I thought
the
Casey was on a team.
no.
No?
No, I know he worked with Kendall and went to Kendall's boot camp. So big props to Kendall.
Casey's been playing great for a while.
Yeah.
Like, he had that really great EBO a couple years ago.
Yeah, he made top 8 back in 2020,
That was the year I came back.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great player.
Twitch.tv/Yoshi, YOSHI underscore 13. Okay, Joe getting out some locations. He's going to have a lot of force to work with. Again, uh, Phil Phil S. Assen, one of our
Yes, indeed.
former world champion.
Very former, based on today's results.
So I know you're a teammate of Joe. So who do you think is going to take this matchup?
Well, I can guarantee you we didn't test it a bunch. Um, I
Does
mean,
anybody ever test for Scott?
like, does Lingrell, like, how many tests does he go to? Do we know? Does he test to 3 or 5? I would assume
I think
not
it,
5.
I think I have
At least
no clue.
3.
He bounces around.
I would assume he tests to at least 3. If he tests to 3, it's kind of rough, right? Because test one stops all of the drain bonuses that normally we would use to apply pressure from
Mm-hmm.
capping. Um,
Scott loves,
yeah,
absolutely loves my way you play.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
test three is going to make choke Vader and force lightning largely ineffective.
Yeah.
Especially with all of his Jedi.
Yeah. So that'll be tricky. We'll see. I mean, but Scott, I mean, you can't retrieve, right? So that's the biggest thing that Joe has going. So whenever Joe can force through damage, it's going to stay
Well, I
done.
mean, that's only if he's playing at peace, right?
Oh, assuming he's playing a piece. Is he not playing a piece? I would be
You
very
don't have to.
surprised.
There's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that much advantage.
Maybe he's not. I don't know. That would change things
Yeah.
a bit.
Which is
So I guess we'll see. Nothing else. It was just the two decks. I would probably rather be on the Mind What You've Learned side, given the nature of the decks. Like if there was like
yeah.
Search and Destroy or some of those things that could make it more interesting. Um,
Are you guys
we'll
running
see.
Search and Destroy?
We are not.
Well, that
No,
makes
we
it
have
rough.
Galen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah,
Because you
test
don't
one
have a
would
lot
be
of
pain.
damage outside of like battle.
No, you pretty much have icons, right? So like drain to space, drain to the ground. So
Yeah.
it'll be. I think it'll be an uphill fight for Joe. But Joe has a way of figuring these things out as well. So
Yeah.
Well, Joe's very disciplined.
yeah.
So we have Scott throwing down Yoda's hut.
On the other hand, Scott's been playing My What You've Learned forever.
Yeah.
Literally
Yep.
forever.
And there's At Peace.
Okay, so that piece is coming out.
Okay, well that answers that question very
Yep.
quickly.
There's Yoda.
So I'll let you guys get back to it. Enjoy.
And Ryan Searson wins slack for today. As he says, Joe remembers secret plans against the one light side deck where it's not needed. And after getting out Yoda, Scott's just going to draw up. Again, with no threat of pressure, I mean, Scott's not in a bad spot.
I think Joe's content at this point just getting activation going.
I agree. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go down with like Forlom or anything, something like that.
Yeah, or like Emperor and Janus or something like that. But
Yeah.
I think he's going to probably try to build his hand so that he actually has answers when Scott does stuff. He needs to put pressure on, though, because if it goes to a long game and Scott's actually playing decent ground, it could get really rough.
Yeah. Okay, there's the audience chamber for Joe. So he's got the audience chamber. It looks like the droid workshop.
He's giving up a lot of
He
icons.
is. Like, that's the one thing.
Like I don't understand this concept with the deck. Like, yeah, you put out a lot of damage theoretically, but you give up a lot of icons.
And there's Josh Pure coming down.
Yeah. But these guys are the pros, so obviously they know what they're doing.
Yeah. But how impressive, I mean, seriously though, I cannot fathom like how impressive this Worlds has been.
It's been great.
Like Mishki coming back after, I know he played a little bit last year at Worlds, but definitely making it again, just coming back, showing that
He was at the top tables all day.
yeah, he was at the top tables all day. He went 7-1.
Yeah.
Like there were no undefeated. He was the top dog today.
I remember playtesting with him on Hollow Table
Yeah.
back in the day. Brian Irish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, Batmouse loses his
He was
first
part
game
of
to
that crew
Watto.
too back in the game. We all playtested on Hollow Table back in
Yeah.
the day. All three of us, Pierre Dubril, bunch of people.
I mean, Steve, how can you say that when Johnny Chu is almost in? He can potentially make the top 8. What? Johnny. Apparently, Johnny, according to Chris Gogolin, Johnny almost got the bye in Game 3, and yet he's one step away from making another top 8.
He's made a heck of a comeback getting back into the game.
Yeah.
Just goes to show why he's one of the best of all time.
I mean, a lot of people say he is the GOAT. So, I mean, he's essentially the Tom Brady of Star Wars.
I have my own personal favorite.
Bastion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually played Bastion.
There's Lord Maul going down to the cantina, joining up with Josh Pure. Scott versus Joe. It is
Steve,
the second
everybody
turn.
loses. Everybody loses. Sooner or later, everybody loses.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what Scott's going to do here. Well,
Justin's really freaking good, man.
yeah.
Justin's really freaking
And
good.
Hayes has made the top 8. He's the number 4 seed right now.
Yep. Hayes has never won a world championship, unfortunately. So I love Hayes, but like, I don't think he's the GOAT.
Okay, let's see what Scott's going to do. He's got like a decent hand here. I saw that he has. I want to say he's got a Sokotano in his hand. Mr. B. Fred coming down. You know, I almost ate that. I'm joking. What you?
Congrats on another top 8, brother.
Yeah, it's a lot of fatigue. Is that the after? Is that the New Allies after party room? Okay. Oh. Let's see, I think it's Obi-Wan with lightsaber and Rey. Is that the New Allies? Is that the New Allies party room?
I guess so. There's a bunch of pizza in there. I'm pretty excited.
Scott doing Scott stuff. Joe. It looks like Joe's swinging back and will hit Rey. I think Scott misses the swing at Josh Pure, draws a 4 for Destiny, does become a 5, and Joe draws a 5 that becomes a 6.
One of the nice things about Jasper is he's defense value 6 at the Cantina.
Yeah. And Joe will clear the site, and Maul will stick around. Not the best situation there for Scott.
Nope.
He does get the Obi-Wan with Obi-Wan Kenobi back into his hand with Jedi's Resilience, but still not a good situation for Scott.
Yeah. But, I mean, Joe's putting on early pressure, and Scott's getting his Jedi testing going. So.
Yeah, I mean, once he starts getting the Jedi testing going, he should be theoretically in a better situation, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, isn't he set up to do test 1 right now?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that Maul drain is going to be 3 right now.
Yes.
Unless he's got virgins, which would be awesome.
Relatively unprotected. And he throws away 2 tests.
That seems smart, considering you can get them back when you complete them.
Mm-hmm.
I love commentating my What You Have Learned. I actually know that deck really well.
Joe throws down Emperor Palpatine to the Cantina as well.
I smell a Force Lightning puzzle.
With the team. I don't want to be mean, but like team only, not my decision.
What?
Please, guys. You guys are not live or anything, right?
We're live.
That's why I said it quietly.
Gonna go grab a Gick. Or nope, he's gonna go grab the Phantom Menace.
I imagine Scott has some Rey or Luke with lightsaber to go with that. Or he might be playing Rebel Scout Luke. I don't know.
Yeah.
My build had Rebel Scout Luke.
And I know that he has Ahsoka Tano in his hand.
Okay.
And then he got back the Obi-Wan Kenobi with lightsaber.
Which is probably why Joe is getting the Phantom Menace to solidify that site.
And he'll put down Hondo and Naka.
Okay. To set up
And
the Slave
looks like
1
he's attempting to get a Slave 1.
Yep.
Don't know. But probably. Yeah. I mean, considering Batmouse and Casey are like 2 and 3, yeah.
Did he just take the ship into hand?
Yes, with yeah.
It deploys, not take into hand. With Hondo.
I don't see it.
If you use double back, that takes it into hand. If you used Hondo to take it,
Do you want to go check?
Deploy. I don't know. Like, do you want to go check?
I'm gonna go check.
Because let me
Hold on. Let's see. He's showing his hand right now. Okay. Thank you, Bastion. He used jury juice.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Bastion. We rely on you.
Yeah.
What time is it for you now?
It's got to be super late over there.
Yeah.
I don't know why Bastion's up right now. Grimtosh.
That's sexy. That is so sexy.
Oh, I think the Grimtosh was for Destiny.
Yeah.
But he took it into hand.
Yep, with Yoda. And that completes the Jedi test.
Oh, he hit Joe with Grimtosh last turn. Okay.
Almost like it was intentional.
I'm pretty sure it's always intentional with Scott.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Joe, going to play a Dark Time for the Rebellion to subtract 1. We got some questions going on right now.
It looks like he's subtracting 1 from the test Destiny. I think he still hits.
I'm not sure, but we have a Greg Zinn sighting. I feel like Scott's the one person you don't really want to question when it comes to Mind What You Have Learned.
Yeah, I don't want to question Scott. Scott's like the guy.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get your Dark Time back, Joe. I'm sorry. Unless Scott's really, really nice, and I don't see that happening in a playing game.
Where'd you guys?
Where'd you guys get the food?
Hmm?
Where'd you guys get it from?
Some local place. Just somewhere that was close to fast place to go.
Huh?
Just somewhere we could get a fast place to go.
Trust me, I'm like starving.
You want some almonds?
Looks like he missed, actually.
Huh?
You want some almonds?
I can't eat almonds.
You want some prunes?
I'm good.
Yeah.
So it does not go through?
It only affects a 1 point of damage right now.
Yeah.
It does slow Scott down a bunch, though.
That's the bigger issue. Okay, so Katana goes down to the Jabba's Palace site.
I think she's actually pretty good in this matchup because I don't know how many actual weapons they play.
Yeah, I don't think Joe plays any weapons.
Like, why would you do that when you have EPPs?
Yeah. And Visored Vision.
Scott breaking out all the tricks.
That's what Scott does.
I know.
Joe will grab the Vision.
I'll be honest with you, the only way I beat Scott back in the day was looking at his deck tech stuff.
And Scott getting up more diggable locations. That's a good point, Tom. Once Scott is, now that he's able to essentially run, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Scott's just going to abuse that all day.
I think Scott's probably playing 2 It Could Be Worses.
Yeah.
Because you can't play projection. Yeah, I agree.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Scott play It Could Be Worse, like, this turn.
Yeah. I would actually love to see an It Could Be Worse right now.
I'd love
I
to
think
see
that would
that.
really
I'd
stem
love to see
some of
the
the
Grim
damage.
Tosh. I'd love to see all the tricks that Scott can play.
Yeah.
Because
He has some of the most innovative decks I
Yeah.
have ever seen.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like Joe,
I like Joe too.
but to see Scott make a top 8
Yeah.
would be amazing. There it is. In foil form, It Could Be Worse.
And Scott laughs all the way to the bank.
Well, not yet.
No, not yet, but that turn he did.
Casting a Jedi testing game today?
What's up?
Did you expect to be casting a Jedi testing game today?
No.
I was hoping.
It's like a dream come true for you, isn't it?
Not really. But it's nice.
It's a Star Wars CCG dream come true for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Commentating Scott Lingrell playing My What You Have Learned at Worlds is a dream come true.
There you go. But is it up there with Bat Mouse making a top 8?
Oh, that would just be gravy.
Well, he already made a top 8.
Well, it is gravy.
I do see that Scott is playing Luke's saber. He has one in his hand.
Yep.
Yeah, like Joe would have to come down. I mean, the Emperor's on the table, so the Force Lightning really doesn't do a lot.
I expect a Dooku.
Dooku wouldn't be. Yeah, Dooku is there. I mean, but you'd have to track around a 7 to get rid of the Ahsoka.
One of the other nice interactions with the new Jedi Lev is that it gets around at peace. So even if he Force Lightnings Ahsoka, he can Jedi Lev her back even without being able to retrieve.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really well designed card.
It was. That was a good change.
So while we're on Joe's turn, he's thinking about what he wants to do. Let's go ahead and give away this Thank the Taco Bill signed card. Uh, so we're going to give it away to the first person who can tell me what year Scott made top 8 that Brad keeps talking about.
I didn't say Scott made top 8.
He didn't make top 8?
No.
You made the top 8 that year.
What year? No, I played against Scott with Boom Race. He played Boom Race. I played 9 Emperor Hunt Down, or Bring Him Before Me
What
with
year did
Tauntaun
Scott
Skull.
make the top 8?
That wasn't top 8. We just played at Worlds.
Okay.
I didn't make top 8 that year.
Okay, what?
He didn't make top 8 that year.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you already put it upstairs?
No, I didn't.
Where's that?
I don't know. It's in my bag. Randomly, it's in my bag.
Scott's
I would
all
be
3 sites out now.
worried
About?
of what I do with my box. Are those your top 8s?
Yeah, they're my top 8. They're my third set of top 8s.
Your what?
My third set of top 8s.
And I'm just curious what Joe's
Okay.
going to do here.
So yeah, I think that's Robbie who is Dunes. Is that you, Robbie Hendon? Okay. So it looks like Joe's just piling on characters at the cantina, including the bartender.
I'm expecting an Ellis beat if that's his game plan.
Yeah.
I wonder if Scott is playing quite a mercenary.
Wait, quite a mercenary V or non-V?
Non-V.
That would be a good card.
In this situation. If that's Joe's game plan.
Yeah. And looks like he's attempting. Okay, so he is drawing for Destiny here. Yep. Put that down. That's a fun card.
I like that card. I'm assuming it was V.
Yeah. As he completes test 1, he'll get test 2 back. Exchanging it with a site. And he looks like he will drain for 2 at the Palace. So now Joe only will drain for 2 at the Cantina. As he loses a Force Lightning and Count Dooku off the top. There's test 2. And it looks like we have a Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout with lightsaber.
Yeah.
Going down in front of P-59.
I'm glad our testing worked out the same, or at least similarly. The Rebel Scout looks really good in what you've learned because it's an additional redraw in addition to the Yoda redraw, so you effectively filter your deck a lot more efficiently.
And so we just saw that Scott did initiate. However, Joe had the Stunning Leader, paid 1 for the interrupt, and paid 1 for the draw their fire cost. Leia does move over to complete test 2. And Scott will just start drawing some cards.
Does Scott get back the Jedi test though?
Well, he's 2's on the jungle.
Okay.
So he completed test 1, got test 2 back.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And then he went to battle.
Sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
Just a little bit. Yeah, test 2 will not move now due to at peace.
And he set up to complete test 3 at the jungle immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, all the new cards. Again, this is one of 3 play-in games to make the top 8, which will begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. We already have 5 of the members of the top 8, and they are Brian Mischke, Anthony Batmouse Howard, Casey Annis, Hayes Hunter, and Brian Fred. So Scott will shuffle up Joe's deck with the Bith Shuffle. So, Greg, do we think that Scott, if he makes the top 8, do you think he's going to play Mind What You Have Learned?
Well, I mean, it depends on what happens here on this next turn, right? Because,
that's true.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So that's what I'm saying, if he makes the top 8.
If he makes top 8, I'm sure there will be an unfathomable swarm of people who will be happy to help him do whatever he wants to do.
Mind What You Have Learned, but better.
Yes.
Ooh, speaking of which, because this is technically a play-in game, I guess I should pull out a card.
Yeah. Do you have in mind what you have learned? Because
I don't. Well, if it's Joe.
Yeah, if it's Joe, you got to do something else. You got to do
But I don't have an extra Mind What
like a Nal Hutta.
Huh?
Nal Hutta's in his deck.
I don't have an extra Mal Hutta.
Okay. Jabba's Palace?
I didn't bring any commons and uncommons with me.
Okay.
This is strictly rares. But I'll see if I can find something spicy. Somebody go grab me Taco Bell. And again, Scott was the one who decided to go with light side in this matchup, so makes sense. Go with what you know. And I think of anybody out there.
I mean, if you're going to play a 2-time world champion, you pick your best deck.
Yeah. And I do like the pick of this deck for Scott.
Well, it'll come down, I think, to if Joe can get Ellis, if he's playing Ellis. I'm sure he is. But and if Scott's got an answer to Ellis, yeah, he's got to see it being telegraphed here. He's absolutely got to see it being telegraphed here because there's no reason for Joe to load up the cantina that much.
Well, no, I agree. Unless Joe is just happy sitting there draining for 2 each turn.
Yeah.
Granted, he is paying for it, so.
Yeah, and we've already seen one. It could be worse.
Yeah. That's a good point, Bastion. But he's got to have some sort of answer for what Joe can do. The question is what?
Might just be a Hoojix.
That wouldn't be terrible.
That's immune to sense.
Yeah,
Not that it matters against my way of learn.
true.
You think Joe's gonna fight Luke, or is he gonna avoid?
I'm not sure. Like that's the real $2,000 question here. What?
That was funny, yeah. No, you're right. Scott could definitely play sense. I was referring to Joe playing sense.
Yeah. Oh no. You know what? This might be the most fitting thing. Looks like I magically find something in the other box. What's up? Okay, so right now I'm guessing we're just really waiting for Joe to do something. Like Joe is the one who I feel like Scott is a good position because he's got his tests going. He's able to start doing testing Leia, seeing what she can do as a Jedi.
That's the whole point of the deck. So
Well,
yes.
yeah, but I'm saying like I feel like his situation is a lot. He's in a better situation right
All
now.
Scott has to do is Jedi test and fight.
Yeah.
And one of the nicest things about mine we've learned is you're not very susceptible to beatdowns except when you go to the opponent's site.
Yeah. Okay. Can't you? Okay, so here we go. Joe going down with Prince Shizor, Dr. Evazan, and Ponda Baba. And looks like a Count Dooku in front of uh, Ahsoka Tano. Oh, has to be that. Has to be. Okay. Joe ends up losing Dr. E. Scott does doesn't do much. I don't think he lost anything there. Like, he might have lost one card or two, but Scott peeling a few more cards there, and he will have to lose the Ahsoka Tano.
Ryan won if you haven't heard.
Huh?
Ryan Jellison won if you hadn't heard.
Over Wayne?
Over Wayne.
Uh, we have our next member of the top 8, Ryan Jelson, will advance over Wayne Cullen. So Ryan out of the team Moneyball advances.
20 minutes left, and Ryan won.
Scott goes to do his next Jedi test, as he does. Even though he does get rid of the Ahsoka Tano, Luke's going to be able to drain for 3 on this next turn. That's still quite a bit of damage. So. Okay, so Ryan Jelson advances over Wayne Cullen.
Okay, good for Ryan.
Joe.
What's been happening while I was gone?
What's up?
What happened while I was gone?
Joe was able to come down with Dr. E, Shizor, and Dooku to get rid of Ahsoka.
Okay, just outpowered her?
Scott had to peel like 3 and the Ahsoka.
Okay.
And now Scott is draining for 3 with Luke.
Shouldn't it be 2?
3. Luke has a saber.
Right, but doesn't he have resistance?
No.
Well, that's awkward.
I know. And Scott will complete Jedi Test 3.
Now the game gets interesting.
The game is afoot.
Yes.
And Scott drops down Hanchuing the Falcon to...
That's a wrecking crew in this deck.
The Hanchuing the Falcon?
Oh, yeah.
What does it do?
What do you mean, what does it do? So you get the Yoda immunity bonus, you get the Jedi Test 3 bonus, and they have to have 6 ability to draw Battle Destiny?
Mm-hmm.
So the only ship in Joe's deck, I believe, that draws Destiny is Boba Fett and Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, that's a good point by Bastion. Joe is only at 2 battlegrounds. P-59 had to run over to the Droid Workshop, which is an all-battleground.
Thank you for catching that. Sorry, I can't see it very clearly.
Oh, that sounds really good. That mouse is getting food. Grilled cheese place.
I'm good.
You don't want anything?
No, I'm good.
So now Luke has his bionic hand on him. The Hanchu and the Falcon's up there. I mean, Joe is threatening a little bit of damage, but he still has to pay for it. Whereas on the flip side, Scott's doing 3 damage right now, plus the drain at now Hutta, so he's threatening 4 damage. No, they don't fly now, Robbie. So Scott wins. We haven't signed that. if Joe wins.
I mean, Test 4 is okay. Like, you get the free search now with that piece, so you don't have to worry about paying the 2. You can basically just get whatever card you want to tutor it up. But Test 4 also takes a little bit longer to complete, and I don't know. Like, you can miss a Destiny draw very easily, especially if you're only playing the 3 sites. So I don't like Test 4 in mine.
Yeah, I mean, Scott has a lot of cards still left in his hand, and I really don't want to go in there and be like, hey, let's get a life force count, throw them off their grooves.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what Greg's for.
Yeah.
I'm going to go check on the Johnny game, anyways.
Looks like a Choke Vader coming down. And Aura Singh. Clash. Gets the Hoojix. Scott a little bit preemptively played that Clash and then took it back, and Joe just moves
Okay,
over
everyone,
the droid.
after checking in, so it looks like this game is really close. Like, again, don't want to really check on the life force count. However, Connor versus Johnny is almost dead even. Like, they're both at about 17 in life force. And they both have actually, the board present isn't that like far off for either of them. So, yeah, unfortunately, both claims are really close. And here we go. More fun coming down. We got Luke with
Obi-Wan
lightsaber.
with Saber.
Obi-Wan with Saber against P-59, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, and I don't know.
And we know about the Clash. So it's, what do you mean? So it's P-59, Dark Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, and Aura Singh with Blaster.
What time are the board games? What time are the board
I have
games?
no idea.
Guys make me sad. Guys make me sad.
I'm not in charge. I gotta get my wife at the train station at 12:05, so I gotta leave here in 3 hours to walk down there. So
Is she leaving today?
no, she's in New York City right now.
She's in where?
In New York City.
And we see a force push, it looks like.
So she's seen Broadway shows. She saw Two Billion tomorrow. That's her thing.
That's good.
Yeah. But
Oh, Jelson advances over Wayne.
yeah.
So, so who was force pushed? Obi-Wan?
I think so. I, honestly, you were talking and I didn't catch it.
I'm sorry. So both Vader and Aura Singh are both hit.
Yep.
Do you see that Scott has a blaster deflection in his hand?
That's probably a good thing right now.
Yeah. The bigger thing is the choke.
I would not be worried about a choke on
Yeah.
Luke, considering you can subtract 1 from the Destiny, and the highest Destiny in the game is a 7.
You coming up? You gonna walk with us? You need to go over details. You can't do that.
I, what?
Oh, it's empty.
No wonder you went 2 and 6.
You don't have, you can just say the truth. It's bad enough.
Blaster deflection.
And he's shuffling the deck. I like that.
Good play, Scott.
Like
Good play,
Scott
Scott.
Is, like Scott's playing
Scott's
really
on fire.
Oh, Vader's clash, not hit. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna flash. You're welcome.
Adding 1, I believe.
Yep. Or no, maybe he's getting it back with
Yeah.
Bionic Hand.
Yeah, it looks like he ditched Hera to get the heading.
He just wants to clear the site.
Yeah, and I think that's the best move.
Draws what is that, a 5?
Yeah, and that's not going to do anything. Scott draws a 4. The 5 becomes what, a 4?
Yep.
I mean, Luke's immune. Timo's still awake too. Oh my gosh, you
Hey,
Germans
Timo.
are great. So there goes R. Singh. There goes the P-59. Ryan, I thought you were like a pro when it comes to mind what you have learned. And Bastion, I love the dedication to like watching this. You've been here all day, and I love it. Same with you, Steve. Same with you, Kuhn.
It's been great hanging out with you guys today.
Yeah, definitely been a fun day.
And Jump Tom.
I
Don't forget Jump
cannot-
Tom.
Yeah, Gem Tom. I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Yeah. I just hope we can sleep.
You sleep. I'm gonna get drunk in game.
Okay, you can do that. I need my beauty rest.
He's not wrong.
Can't be this damn good looking without it.
Okay, so it looks like he does flash, or he is showing for the Boba Fett.
Yep,
Boba
that's-
Fett going down to Rendalee.
I wonder if Scott plays another ship.
I don't know, but I mean, I see that he's got the Unita in his hand. It looks like he's got an Anakin. Anakin wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, if he's got like a Bright Hope, even if he's got any ship that he can come down with to knock Joe out of space would be really good. Okay, Arsing back to hand.
I don't know how much Arsing is going to move the needle against those two Jedi.
Yeah. And when I went in there, it was about like 20 minutes left on the timer. So this game could probably go another like the 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
And unfortunately, Scott just needs to do as much damage as he can right here. Sorry about the mess would be really good. Then there's Brian Fred walking around like he owns the place as he makes a top 8. Grays for 1 at Nalhutta.
Honestly, I'm surprised Scott's not playing Wars Not Make One Great. He loves that card.
That's a fun card.
It is a fun card.
And Anakin Skywalker going down in front of Shizor and Count Dooku.
I assume he has more.
I would hope so because he doesn't get Destiny with Anakin by himself.
Correct.
Like Rey wouldn't be bad just because she gets you the ability to pull a card off out of your use pile. Okay, so yep, he moves Anakin over to the desert site, moves Obi-Wan over to the droid workshop.
I'd move the Hunter and the Falcon over.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because now Joe's only doing 2 points of damage.
Yep. Again. Maybe another time for It Could Be Worse?
You would think.
I would think. I haven't seen one
we
in a
did
while.
see him lose one at one point in this game.
Okay.
So, but this is Scott we talk about, and he does love it could be worse.
He does.
Like,
I wonder if he's playing with a patented "it could be worse."
I don't know. I don't know how patented the it could be worse is this weekend because Worse left Team Killer Bees to join Team 5 for the weekend.
No, he didn't. He just helped them out some. There is something. What was the interrupt, Bastion? There's another choke Vader. Oh, okay. Drain of, looks like 2 and 1. One thing mine, what you've learned has a hard time with is steady direct damage of any amount. Now, you can usually curtail it some, but drain races are not where you ideally win games. But I have to say, Scott's putting up a heck of a fight and doing a lot of damage right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what the position that Scott has put himself into. Like, it's still a decent position, but the biggest problem is like Joe was able just to get in so much damage early on.
It was some. I don't know what the life count is, so I don't know.
But as we see, Joe has a pretty nasty looking hand.
Do I have what?
Yeah, that's a really good point. The first strike hurts.
Yep.
And Zuckus and Miss Hunter coming down. Yeah, this is not looking good. Like the
Well,
fact
Scott
that
gets a power destiny. He's going to have a hard time losing the ship necessarily.
I'm sorry. If I know where it is, I'll get you one. I'm sorry, man. Eat your almonds.
huh?
Almonds?
I can't eat almonds.
Prunes?
Joe doing a good job putting both of his ships together to actually maximize the effect of them.
Yeah, Scott really needs another ship here.
He does.
Like, I know he's doing a little bit of damage, but yeah, he's doing what? One.
He's draining for 2 at the mall site.
Yeah, he's draining for 2 at the mall site, and I think it's 1 at the droid workshop.
You said Joe played first strike, right?
I think it's that right next to the Phantom Menace.
And he's in front of him at least one location. So Scott could just start triggering stuff to retrieve force. Well, he can't retrieve
Yeah.
force, so yeah.
Oh, if he controls her with a droid, it's +1. So normally it is +2. Or it's a +1 if he controls with a droid. Otherwise, it's a drain of 1 there.
What, the Obi-Wan drain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he does initiate swings and hits RSA. Joe will pay 1
And a blaster deflection.
blaster deflection. And he's going to use the Clash of Sabers here. I love this from Scott. Draws a 5 for Destiny. And Joe just shows the gick. Oh. At least Joe didn't slow roll it, you know?
Yep. Well, Joe doesn't want to go to time any more than anybody else, and he's tired.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird ruling. Like I think it's I do think that's what they were asking. And I think
If Scott loses.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to go grab Joe?
Yeah.
So I'll get to put dish back. You know what? Grab Scott really quick too. So we'll just double check this one. We'll also double check the other play-in game as well. I think Joe and Scott, or okay, so we are gonna. I think we're gonna grab Joe here. I also think, just to confirm, we'll also confirm about the other match as well. So, let me see if Slack has anything.
I can tell you who won the other matches. Dan, I know who won.
Oh, Drew.
Chu beat Connor. Chu beat Connor, and Jellison beat Wayne Collin.
And then
And then
Joe
Will
beat.
conceded to Brian.
Yeah. So our top 8 is set. It is as followed: Brian Mishke, Batmouse.
Casey.
Never thought I would say that. Casey, Hayes Hunter, Brian Fred, Joe Olson, Johnny Chu, and Ryan Jelson.
Pretty exciting stuff, right?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine
You can interview me. Turn 1 is when I lost the game.
what happened turn 1?
I tried to hit Jasper with a lightsaber.
Well, let's get you a headset.
All right.
So we have Scott,
Hey, how are you?
Lingrell.
I've been drinking a lot of water.
Uh,
This one's fine. Thanks for bringing me on.
so what happened in the game?
Well, so I had Yoda in my opening hand.
Yes.
Daughter was activated my turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that always makes it a problem.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I could put Yoda down for 3, and for 3, and then basically Daughter's in the force pile. So his first turn, he plays some stuff. His second turn, he goes Jasper to the Cantina
Mm-hmm.
with Maul, with lightsaber,
Yes.
who's not immune. And so I drew into Leia, so I know she was in my hand.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, all right, let's start over. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start over. So let me tell you what happened. So one of the, okay, so here's the biggest thing. I draw my 8-card hand.
Yeah.
I've got Yoda in my hand. I've got At Peace in my hand. So that's an issue. The second issue is I activated 7
Yep.
because I need 3 for Yoda, 4 for Daughter,
Yeah.
and Daughter's in my force pile. So I activated 1 more, played Yoda, and I did draw Leia. So I had
Okay.
Leia, and I think I left a couple force left. So that's the problem. His second turn, he goes Jasper to the Cantina. He goes Maul with Saber, moves him over. And I've got EPP Obi, I've got a Resilience, I've got enough force to deploy them, I've got enough force to play Leia, I've got all the stuff I need, and I'm like, well, I might as well go, I can battle for free, I go down,
Yeah.
I swing at Jasper and I draw a 6. He's defense value +3, or +2, so I need a 7, and I redrew one of the 3s, which was the Bright Hope, and I drew Qui-Gon with lightsaber. So I missed, because if I hit him there, I fully intended on hitting Jasper.
Which makes sense.
If I hit Jasper, I clear Jasper and Maul because he's not immune,
Yeah.
and I am not worried. That combined with slow, having Yoda in my opening hand, Daughter in my force pile, missing the test one.
And I was going to say, like, Joe able to play the dark time there, getting you just under really set you back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how it worked. I know with pod racing, when you make something -1, when it stacks, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure because it was like reveal them and then choose one. I just had never had somebody that I could remember reduce it. So basically what happened is, that's okay though. I was doing okay.
Yes.
I was able to, it could be worse, one of the drains. But then things like, I just wasn't able to do enough, right? I couldn't, like I went down with Luke and he had a lot of characters, right? I didn't have the Hoojiks. And I had played, played Ahsoka because I was just like, the hell with it. I'm going to put Ahsoka down. And I did take some overflow. It was 3 overflow. But I was expecting to lose the game there. I couldn't find it. And I was trying to shuffle his cards. And I was trying to get through the tests. It just took me a little while to get through everything. But really what happened, I mean, Joe, it wasn't Joe or me. It was just luck, right? That's what it came down to. The rest of the game was, us having a good chess match, right?
Yes.
The clash to get Vader out, had some battling. He had a barrier, which was key when I've been playing the barrier canceller, but I did it because I needed to stop him from tracking everything. And he had good destinies, and it really didn't have. We had like one battle, I think, that was test 3 really affected.
Yeah.
1 or 2 battles, it didn't really matter. And then I had to lose some ships. I didn't see Zuckuss because I confirmed his deck early on, and I didn't see Zuckuss, so I didn't think he had him in his deck. I saw the Slave 1, he played that, so I moved the Falcon over. And again, it didn't really hurt me. It's just that the ping damage with losing a couple force here and there, and battle damage, I lost like 2 in this battle, 3 in this battle, kind of caused some issues.
So what made you go with Jedi testing in this match? Like I know your dark side was what? It was court.
Court musicians?
So why did you go with Jedi testing over that for the playing game?
Oh, I didn't. The higher seed chose.
So Joe chose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
He
makes
chose
sense.
dark, so that's what I had to play light.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
when I looked at my decks, right, the Jedi testing, I mean, it went 3-1, right?
Mhm.
And you think about drain cancels, right? It stops drain bonuses. I played, a lot of different tricks to reduce their drains, reduce their destinies. You just do a lot, right? It's a
Yeah.
very good control deck.
Mhm.
The problem is going to be decks that can run that get 6s and 7s, right? So
Yeah.
I know Sam was pretty upset with himself, and at first, because I didn't understand what was going on in the game in the sense that we played in game 8, and he was playing Invasion, I was playing Jedi Testing, and one of the things was he kept counting his force pile, and I was confused, and at one point in the game I was like, look, I don't want to time out. I said, we're taking a lot of time counting and
Yeah.
things like that. And after the game, I asked him, I was like, what were you doing? I didn't understand. I thought he was like tracking his force pile to figure out cards. I was really confused, and he let me know. I forgot I had Jedi Luke out. He had to use a force to battle to use weapons.
Oh.
So he kept counting his force pile, and I really didn't understand it. But what lost Sam that game was, a late game I played. I just want to talk about this game for a second. Late game I played Kifix with the Falcon,
Mhm.
and he was able to move the battleship over, and we had some battles, and he was able to keep the admiral that makes Episode 1 ships immune,
Trent,
and he had
Admiral
Tay
Trent.
Howe
Mhm.
in the battleship, and I only had the Falcon left.
Oh, okay.
No, I did have the Falcon and Gold Leader and Gold One and Poe. So I battled him, and he made it immune,
Yeah.
but now didn't have 6 ability to draw Battle Destiny,
Oh.
and he lost it. So that's the
Oof.
thing is, there are moments like that, right, where you do that, and it completely does them in. So that's kind of the same thing. Like, even with Joe in that one battle, right? I had the Bionic Hand. I battled against Aura and Vader.
Mhm.
I hit Aura,
Yes.
and then I was able to swap, get the clash, and clash him, and he didn't draw Destiny. Now he had the Hujix, right? Without
Yes.
it, the game's
Yes.
over. And basically, when we work with the team, Mind What You've Learned, Jedi Testing team, and all that, Heisenberg, right? He's the one that had the hand, right? Because we have different versions, and I really liked his version of using the hand, but with the other version that the rest of us use, which is Qui-Gon and Obi, and then he was using Luke in the hand, and I thought to myself, I said, well, I like the idea of hit and running, so I kind of went with his ground package of the EPPs, the Resiliences, and then Jedi Luke with the hand. And the hand actually did help me today, so it's really good, especially in a lot of battles. So it's a good deck. It does have some downsides, like every deck.
Yeah.
I played it yesterday and lost to Walkers. Today I played Walkers and won.
So how did your that court musician deck do?
Fantastic.
So
I lost one game. Yesterday I went 3-0 with it. Today I went 3-1 with it.
Wow, that's
I beat Chu yesterday by 23. I beat oh gosh, I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. Why can't I remember him? He's got the Tennessee logo.
David Woods.
David Woods. Yeah, I beat David Woods by like 29. I beat Garrett by 2, but he was playing the Anakin deck with all the lightsabers, but I still won. And then today I did really well. I did lose one game to Benji with it. So Benji was playing 0 Hour, and where I did really well was in 0 Hour. He just avoided the ground and drained for 5 in space.
Wow.
And I don't have enough space really to challenge
That's
him.
insane.
And then when I did go up there, he was coming down with like profundity and all this other stuff in space.
That's insane, and I love it that he was like, he realized that if I ignore him on the ground, space is the answer. That's amazing.
And then when I spread out, he put every character he had at one site and did overflow. So he played it perfectly. But the deck did very well, and the deck is a lot better because with the cover charge deck, right?
Yeah.
I've always liked the Cloud City version better because of the retrieval, and you don't have to worry about Leia because you have IG-88 at the audience chamber.
Okay.
You don't, but the problem is the liability is the carbonite chamber, right? It's a drain of 2, drain of 3 with lightsabers. That's always been the problem. With Court, I said, you know what? Let's go to the, because of Hut, Power of the Hut, Leia's game text is canceled.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about droids, and you never have to worry about them controlling the audience chamber. So it's infinitesimally better.
It's like
now.
design tried to do something to make Court better.
Yes, and now they made musicians better.
Wow.
I mean, listen, it's like the old Skrilling deck that T.J. Holman played 20-some years ago, right? You have to beat the deck twice, because I played games today where they would be able to kill some my musicians, and then I get the one that lets me retrieve every time I play other musicians. So I play her, retrieve, play another musician, retrieve, and now the 3 or 4 musicians I lost, I retrieved them all. And now I battle. And I didn't have. You don't have a lost pile very often. It's good. Now listen.
That does not sound like it's a good experience for anybody but you.
No, and listen, it's good. But listen, there are decks like Hitko coming turn 1 to the audience chamber. You're going to have some problems, but there are times where you get a good draw. You don't worry about it. You know.
Awesome.
So that's all.
Okay. Well, I will say this: nice job going 6-2.
Yeah.
I mean,
it worked out.
It did, and you know what? It was great watching it. It was great rooting for you there. I know
Thanks.
Ryan Saracen was just like cheering you on.
I know, and all of them were, right?
Bastion, Robbie. The chat was just like,
you know, look, mind what you've learned is tricky, right? That
yes.
And one of the things we did talk about, and it would have helped here, is we did talk about adding the immediate effect. If they drain for 3, you play it, and they only drain for 1.
I said that on the stream, actually. If you had virgins, that would be...
Well, we were going to put it in the deck, but we were like, come on. How hard is it to pass test 1? And you should be able to get, because there's 2 it could be worse.
Never say that. You just jinxed yourself. You tested fate.
Yes. And that's the problem, right? We talked about it, and the deck was really tight. I wanted the Grimtosh instead. And listen, I played the Grimtosh on Joe turn 1.
Yeah, you did.
And it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Or turn 2 or whatever. I just thought,
But still.
sending them back a turn. Some like Walkers, I think it helps because it sets them back. They get all these. I don't know. But that's my issue. Really, if I take that out, I absolutely put Virgins in. That was like the 61st card. Because the Cantina deck where they go down turn 1 and you just happen to have the bad luck like I had, so be it.
That's fair.
So, Scott, the argument I would make for virgins is it's higher destiny.
It is a 5. But listen, the deck, I don't know we need deck maker to start telling us the average deck destiny.
I can tell you to come to me and talk.
Well, that's a story for another time. But well done. Great. It was great seeing you there in that. So.
My motivation was all just making sure Bill Kafer's fantasy team did better. That's it.
Well, I think he'll definitely thank you.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, Bill had a stressful day, so everything was great. So I wanted to make sure.
It didn't really. I mean, I feel bad for Bill because he got paired up against Brian Fred.
Oh, did they play? He was in the top 8 too?
Like Bill was playing against Brian Fred to make it into the top 8, and then Bill conceded to Brian.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So.
Does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody in the chat have questions?
I don't see anybody else in the chat. Like nobody's really responding, but
that's cool. We're good then.
I think we are. So again, tomorrow, top 8 starts at 10 a.m. Star Wars time, probably 10:05. But until then, so make sure you guys tune in. It's gonna be great.
Thanks, Ryan.
Always tune in. The top 8. It's gonna be fun. Who do you like?
Have a drink and get some sleep. Thanks, Brandon.
Who's gonna win it tomorrow?
I don't even know who's in the top.
Okay, top 8. Mishki.
Yep.
Batmouse.
Yep.
Casey. Hayes. Johnny Chu. Joe. Ryan Jelson. And Brian Fred.
Let's go with Ryan Jellison. I want him to do well.
Okay, I can see that.
Him or Casey, I think, would be two people, and Bat Mouse has been there too.
Yeah, Bad Mouse in his first ever. He's made 3 top 8s in a row.
Yeah. So
Like,
this
it's
is
insane.
old news. Let's give somebody the other guys.
Well, I mean, everybody else is old.